Hey there, folks. Welcome back. Today we are getting back into our playthrough of Book of Hours. This is going to be part 38, and we are about to have our very first Salon today. So, with that said, let's fast forward through the day and get ready for that because this is going to be interesting. All right, so we left off. We have some lessons for Watchman's Paradoxes that we can use, so we can actually start reading a couple books for that now. Because we're going to use one of those for pyroglyphics. So we need 5 lantern or forge memories. So we've got 1 lantern and forge there. We've got lantern there. That's 2. And then we have forge 3. And we have that metal that we used to make some iotic essence. We'll go ahead and rest that for now, because we may not need it, but it would be really bad if we're asked for 3 metals and we can't provide a 3rd metal. So we're just waiting for our people to show up now, and then we can start our salon once noon ticks over. Because we're having a lunch, so it's going to be a formal lunch. We can't do that until the afternoon. Okay, so there's going to be our 4th lantern. Nope, there's Arthur. Did Arthur Moore receive my invitation? There's Mrs. Ita. There's Father Stanislav. And Dr. Peel. Alright, so we've collected, that's 1 memory, 2 memories, 3 memories. Our metal is better. So we need 2 more memories. A forge or lantern. So we can get 1 more from here. That gives us 4. And then we need 1 more forge or lantern. So let's see, we have... Oh, we can do memory pattern. Gives us 5. This pattern is forge and knock. Okay, we'll speed up time a little bit here to get to getting close to noon. Because right now it's still morning, the 3rd hour when the office of terse was once sung. Watch as the day opens like a door. Midday, before the Great Division, this was the 6th hour, when the priests led hymns to the sun in splendor. Now noon, as they say, is not as it was. Perhaps the new king will change that. So we'll give this another 20 seconds or so to make sure we're good on lunch. And finish up reading these books to get our memories. Alright. So there are our 5 memories. So we add pyroglyphics, a lesson, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 memories. And we will use one of those metals that we had, just in case. So that will get that up to level 6. And we will now commence our Salon in the refectory, a room where once the curia meet, a fitting venue for a salon. My guests take their places for lunch. Keep an eye on the salon as it progresses. You'll need to add soul cards to encourage the conversation to flow. Different guests will need different soul cards. The more guests, the longer the salon will last. So we can see our guests have taken their seats. And let's see what they have to talk about today. Lunch and supper last longer than less formal salons, allowing an extra interaction between your guests, plus 1 time remaining, which is this here. Your guests will remain until this is gone. Say something witty. Add a shapt card. Lively conversation. Azita and Mrs. Kill exchange weather lore. Plenty of babies shy of birth, but can't wait to stick their heads out in a storm, opines Mrs. Kill gloomily. Lesson of Sky Stories. And there's our pyroglyphics at level 6. What next? Conversation ebbs and flows. Say something witty. Add a shapt card. Aaron and Arthur are reminiscing about the city of Poon, although Aaron has not visited it, he confides, since the time of the Maratha Empire. One exile after another, the Pentament's fate. Exile is addictive. You'll learn that too. Lessons, Sickle, and Eclipse. Okay, so that gives us something we can use for Edicts Martial. Conversation ebbs and flows. Invite a challenge. Add a medal card. Serious discussions. Stanislav and Arthur discuss the herbs of Persia and their uses in the infirmary of the Labyrinth of Lions. Lesson, Herbs and Infusions. Conversation ebbs and flows. A more sober tone. Add a Faust card for exalted debates. Arthur has been describing the mirror mazes of the Labyrinth of Lions to a smiling Azita, but now he seems to grow suspicious of her motives in questioning him, and he withdraws. Lesson, Glazery and Lightsmithing. Lively chatter. Inject a little gaiety by adding a core card. Aaron and Stanislav compare the sacred places where it is fitting to spill blood, those where the spilling of blood is welcome, and those where one may only spill one's own. Lively chatter. Another core card. Inject a little gaiety. I don't know that talking about where you can cut your own wrists and feed the earth is something that's I would consider gay, but this is Peel that we're talking about here. Azita and Aaron speak of conversations they both had long ago with the witch Nine-Gala of Lagash about Vak, identified with the Peacock Door, and Calyptra. The goddess, she was very bad for me, Aaron sighs, but much worse for poor Gearby. That's how he came about his interest in doors. And goddesses. Conversation ebbs and flows. A lively meal concludes. My guests leave happy. You've gained an additional potent memory. And we finish up just as night falls. So let's take stock of what all we got from this. So we got a lesson in Sky Stories, 2 lessons of Sickle and Eclipse, a lesson of Herbs and Infusions, a Glazerian Lightsmithing lesson, a lesson of Rites and the Roots, and a Curious Hunch, a sudden unlikely certainty. So it's a persistent memory with Knock, Lantern, Moth, and Heart. And it's also an omen in case we ever need something who does, or for a place that can accept omens. Those who know see. Those who see know. And we got a card, a lively salon. You held a lively salon. This was a marker to remind you you can't hold another salon until next season. And our guests are departing. So we see they are embarking. This visitor is eager to be on their way and won't usually tarry for conversation. So let's see what we can do. So we have a lesson in Sky Stories. Have we already assigned Sky Stories? No, yes we have. So we can use that for something else. We have Rose and Sky. Well, we can assign that to Inks of Power, because we could always use more power in the Inks of Power. So let us start reading something for that. So we need 2 lessons in either Scale or Rose. Well, we can get one from Memory Fear. And we can get another. We need Rose. So we can use Almanac of Entrances. We can set this other one up here, because otherwise they're overflowing off the shelf. And we can hold that Memory Satisfaction over till tomorrow, because it is night now. Which gives us a Grail and Heart memory if we need it, which we can use for Herbs and Infusions. So we'll start that as soon as the day takes over. And we'll go ahead and do another day here, because the salon was pretty much the only thing we did today, so not much happened. We'll just use this day to level up our skills. So we'll speed up time a little bit and go faster. Alright, so there we go. Next day. So let's see if we can get how many of these skills we can use. Okay, so there's some sun. So that will help us out using the Glazerian Lightsmithing or Watchman's Paradoxes. Alright, so there's 1 and 2 memories that we can use for Inks of Power. 2. And we can use, we wanted to use the Sky Stories, and we'll use Fett for that. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Rites of the Roots is at level 3. We need Nectar and Moth for that. We could get there, but it would be tricky. So instead we'll do Herbs and Infusions, because we can do the Heart that we have from our... And we'll hold the Rites of the Roots memory for now. Although we do have the Curious Hunch, which does have Moth on it as well. Okay, so yeah, so we can do Rites of the Roots. So let's see, we need Moth and Lantern. Or Moth and... sorry. So we do Ambrosial. Gives us 1. We can read the Sun Disguised. Sun Disfigured, rather. That one gives us a Moth memory. We have to use Crack Track and that, but we can reread that easily enough. So that's actually, we don't need to use the Curious Hunch. So all our visitors are on their way. Inks of Power are now level 3. The inks in which the histories are written. So we'll grab Herbs and Infusions, Satisfaction, and a Health. and get that started. Let's see, we've assigned Glazering and Lightsmithing, so that's yet another thing we can use for boosting something else. So we can do, we have Anbari and Lapidary. We did want to level that up, so we need Forge and Sky memories. So we can do a Forge memory here. And then we're just about done here, so we can get some more memories going. Actually, we need to do the Paradise Palm. We can use one of our maladied ones for that without using up a soul fragment. Okay, so we're going to need that, and then we're going to need also Forge again. Forge or Sky, so we can use Singlefoot Songs. For Sky. And we can also come up here and do the phonograph recording to get a beguiling melody. We can just throw a Faust at that one. And I am going to pause the recording here. I need to go do something AFK. I will be right back, and we will pick up where we left off. And we are going right back into it. Sorry about the pause there. Just had to go and take care of something away from the computer for a few minutes. But we are going to, let's see. So we got our memories generating. Okay, so there is our memory of scent. So we can do Rites of the Roots. 1, 2, 3 memories. And the health. And the lesson. Another fruit plucked from knowledge's tree. See, I think we're also going to want to level up Inks. We're definitely going to want to level Inks of Revelation. But I think we'll focus. So we have 2 lessons we can put in Anbari and Lapidary. And maybe 1 in Inks of Revelation. Or 1 in Anbari and Lapidary and 2 of Inks and Revelation. We also have insects and nectars that we could do. Actually, we'll use those sickle and eclipse lessons for insects and nectars here. So we need moon or nectars. So that should be easy enough. So we have the old wound, which is a moon. Alright, so Rites of the Roots is now level 4, so we have 5 nectar, 4 moth. Alright, so we're going to do Anbari and Lapidary. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Glazering and Lightsmithing, and Faust. So that takes that to level 5. And then we'll do... We need 1... So we need 3 memories total for that. So insects and nectars is moon and nectar. So we can do ambrosial, gives us nectar. And up here we can do... That's moon. And... moon. So that will get insects and nectars to level 3. And then we want 2 lantern. So we can do whist. Lantern or moth. So we'll do Horace for lantern. There's a beguiling melody that we can use for something. Ended up not needing it, but we have it anyway. So we have 1 lantern, 2 lantern, 3 lantern, 4. Let's see where that takes us. Okay, so Librarian Lapidary is now level 5. 5 Forge, 6 Sky. So it's 1, 2, 3. We can do 1 level of insects and nectars. Use the other one for Edicts Martial to get that up 1 more level. So we need 1, 2, 3. We need 1 more memory of either Edge or Moon. Let's actually do 2 because we want to keep that old wound around. We already have. There we go. Confound the parable. Insects and Nectars is now level 2. We're going to level Inks of Revelation. With 1 of the Watchman's Paradoxes. Okay, and so then we're going to need 3 Lantern skills. Or Lantern or Moth, so we can read. You can read Ambrosial again. That's 1. Two and 3. And with that, we've used up all of the lessons that we learned from that salon. Even if they weren't directly for the ones that we learned them for, we put them to good use. That's Edicts Martial. 1, 2, 3, 4. Circle and Eclipse. And the Tryst. And Edicts Martial will now be level 5. And after this, I can show you a trick that we can do with Edicts Martial now that we have it at that level. So it has 6 moon. So there's our 1, 2. And we can do 1, 2, 3. Work with Watchman's Paradoxes. And a bet. And Inks of Revelation will now be level 4. And now that we have Edict's Martial at level 5, we have 6 moon. Adding the old wound gives us 2 more for 8. And adding a tryst gives us... Actually, so I'll show what we can do here. So we need a moon desk. So we can add Edict's Martial, the old wound, tryst, and if we can add 1 more point of moon, we can get to level 10. So if we see here, old wound, Edict's Martial with Prentice level moon creates old wound. Or for a scholar level recipe, add a memory and find an even bitterer dream. So we can just add our globe to add 1 extra point of moon, and this allows us to craft Wormwood Dream. So this is a self-making thing. So Edict's Martial makes an old wound, and then the old wound goes to Wormwood Dream. Recall a forgotten crime of moon and winter. Edict's Martial with scholar level moon plus memory creates Wormwood Dream. So we'll get started on that. Because if you remember, we had one earlier, and Wormwood Dream gives us 6 moon and 6 winter. So it's a very potent memory for reading winter and moon books. And also for crafting anything that might need winter or moon. And there's Inks of Revelation at level 4, so we have 5 lantern and 4 moth with that. And so that brings us to the end of the day. I'd say this was a fairly successful day. We put all of the lessons that we got from the Salon to good use just in time before the season changed over, and we're about to see whether Numa is going to come and visit. So just in case it does, let's get Mrs. Kill out. Nope, it is a... Well, we have rain, but we still haven't seen whether Numa is coming. Nope, it's going to be a normal season. So we'll put Mrs. Kill to use here in just a few minutes. So what we can do, we will hold off on doing anything else for right now. And we will go ahead and call this a day at this point. So we've used up all of our lessons. We are into spring, or into summer of this year. So when we come back, we will be boosting up Mrs. Kill. Let's see what can we get her to do. We could let's see. We could use that. We could get another Sun's Disfigured reading and try and get her to 14 Grail. I think that's possible with what we have on hand. If not, we can definitely make use of her and get her to something. We can probably do something with her. Probably get her, see if we can get her to 9 heart for that. Anyway. So, at this point, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. So, thank you for joining me. If you've been enjoying what you've been watching, please leave a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more of these, please subscribe. And I will see you all on the next go-around. Thank you for joining me.